Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to week 11 of the Point Gremlins podcast. My name is James or Jonas the Red, and of course, as always, we have Alex or Delirium, my co host, every single time. Today, we got a couple special little topics we could talk about. We're going over to three Bs that have nothing to do to the other besides laser tag, bouncing, boosting, battle house, and glue eater. Cool. First off, like the reason why I picked these ones, not necessarily because they started with Bs, it just happened to come up through the week as we were talking. Starting out with bouncing, it's just like, what does it mean? What splashing look like? Is it legal? Is it frowned upon? What is it of? Where do you want to start there?
With bouncing? Well, I guess in my opinion, I'm very much pro bouncing. I think it's a very healthy thing for the sport, and I think it adds a level of depth to the game. So it kind of there's something more to where you are allowed to be on the field, because you don't want to stand in certain locations that are super easy to bounce. And by bouncing, obviously, I mean being able to bank shot or just shoot at a wall and have the laser bounce ricochet off of it and hit somebody. So there's a lot of common bouncing locations on the field, as well as some that a lot of people don't really know about.
Yeah.
I heavily encourage them and utilize them a lot in my play style, but I'm a big fan of that B.
Yeah, I'm definitely a pro splash zone as well, pro bouncer, whatever the terminology is. Some people definitely aren't. But what are some like the main splash zones you can come up with at the top of your head? My first one is right next to Broken Room.
Yeah,
When they come around that corner, it's a big
yeah.
white wall right there.
I
Next up,
think
Black Hawk Down.
that's
Yeah.
like one of the big ones. The other ones, there's actually quite a few in Mansion that I use. When you're entering patio from the garden, so you're walking into patio from the garden, that doorway that you walk through has a door that's always at like a 45-degree angle. That door is a big splash zone. So if there's someone sitting in the corner, uh, you can just shoot that doorway and you can get them out of there. Uh, Upstairs to downstairs, you can shoot basically a lot of the filing cabinets. It's a lot of the doorways. The walls are kind of harder to bank shot off, but the doorways are kind of a stained wood, so you can bank shot off them a lot easier,
Yeah.
as
How
well as like
much?
the spawn locations as well.
How much does that color of the wall really help? Lighter
Um,
colors just like tend to bounce really easily, or maybe just like you could do off anything. Well, majority of the colors are lighter on the field, like a
right.
couple red walls or something
Yeah.
like that.
I've never found that it's the color that matters. It's always more so the surface that you're trying to bounce off of. So some of the walls are kind of harder to bounce off of just because they're kind of more of like a sandpapery texture, which is more difficult to bounce off of just because there's so many angles that the laser can reflect off of based off all that little sand.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sure.
yeah. So I think it's more so the type of wall you're bouncing off of, less than the color.
So the argument that I had last week or this weekend or whatever was that we're meant to create like a realistic laser tag experience, something that like trying to be as realistic as possible. When it's not really that much. I feel that splash, bouncing, ricochet, bank shots add, like you said, this depth to the game that just like once you learn, it's like oh, there's all this extra stuff you could be learning and figure stuff out from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think to be honest, I think the notion that we're attempting to be a realistic, uh, like tactical laser tag is kind of a 7 years ago thing. It's not something that is what we are, to be honest with you. I think we're fast paced, sport like competitive laser tag. So
yeah,
I
I think I
think
agree
any
with
of
that.
those intricacies, such as bouncing, that make the game more complex, are welcomed most of the time.
To the common new player that comes in, that's what they're gonna like about it. Is they're gonna like the that it's realistic, or it seems realistic. Sometimes you'll get those special sessions, or not special sessions, but some sessions that will have just the lights and sounds that make gun sounds. The guns kind of feel like realistic, and you actually reload the weapon. The light show is like kind of strobing you in the eyes, and like has like some warlike sound effects. We've kind of fallen away from that and moved more towards a meta developing, and it's not necessarily from someone's personal agenda to push it that direction. It's just the meta has created, and the regulars have come in and kind of developed it a little bit more and more. We have a lot of people right now that are pushing it and tweaking it and spinning it to make it the way it is now, and it's just the meta's gone from that now. It's on to something else.
Yeah, and I think it's actually something that's a big misconception for a lot of our new players as well. So they kind of go in there thinking it's gonna be a slower thing. A lot of ambient noise, moving around corners slowly, stuff like that, getting people out of rooms. And then you have the start of the game where someone sprints down the street and wipes out a team. It's like, whoa, well, that wasn't realistic. No one would wager their life by sprinting down the street like that, just guns a blazing. That's not something anyone would do if it was realistic.
Yeah, no, it's not. But the reason why it came that way is because what's the punishment for really dying? It's you just walk back to base and do
And
it again.
respawn,
From a
yeah.
mental levels, it's just that. On another level, it's your poor stats. Is your every single death like kind of resets your KDR or like neuters it a little bit, and then that's really the punishment for it. But you're playing at a competitive level and you're trying to win. Death doesn't. It's just a little delay between you shooting and how fast you can get back to base and do it again.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like initially what the adaptment of the shock belt was kind of more of a punishment for getting shot, stuff like that, to make it more realistic. But in reality, it's just we don't use that. Where that's not the audience that we currently have. It's not what we are as at iCombat anymore.
It's what's been created, and really, it's y'all's fault. It's not fault. I think it's a good thing that the meta is developing around it. Some other laser tag places haven't had the chance to have their meta developed yet, and ours, I think, is the furthest I've ever seen where people have come in and tried to spin things and change things that were what the original owners wanted it to really be.
Yeah,
These,
it's very different from the vision that the original owners had. They did not see this place as initially the purpose was for like SWAT military training. It wasn't for public laser tag, and it has since changed from that. I'm sure they didn't anticipate having regular players coming in so often, let alone as many as we currently have. Uh,
do you do you think there's a spot where you could cross the line with bouncing and splashing?
I think the place where it gets the iffiest is the ceiling. It's not really anything that happens. I think where it would become a problem is if I could like shoot the ceiling and kill everyone in their spawn at the beginning of the game. Stuff like
Yeah.
that I could see becoming an actual problem, but the way it is on the field right now, we don't have any spots like that are like actual problems.
Like abusive problem. It's like in order for you to get a splash like that's something off the ceiling like that, where it's like you shoot a lot of bullets and get like a really nice reward for it. Would just be, you shoot a lot of bullets to get a couple shots to like ring off in the right direction. So people will shoot at the lights. They're a little bit lower, and
Yeah,
since the poor market is kind of crammed into the building as much as possible, the lights are just above your head. You can almost touch them sometimes.
and the thing is you really can't bank shot off the lights unless you can see the reflection of a person in those lights as well. That's you have to be looking for that because then you shoot at the reflection in the light and it'll tend to hit them. But they're all rivety, so it's even hard at that.
I didn't even think about that. I would just think of, okay, can I think, could there be potentially a person right there? And if I stand at this particular angle and shoot the right angle, I wouldn't think to see the reflection of the lights in it. I
They're
should stare at
almost
some more
like
lights.
they're almost like a perfect mirror. You can see anyone through them if there's someone standing beneath them.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of mirrors, I made the mirror shield. If some of you guys have seen it, I've tried it a couple times in like little staff game sessions and stuff. It's really, really funny. It's just to like really how badly can we abuse this bouncing thing? Well, it just is shooting off a mirror, and it works just the way you think it does, maybe even a bit better than you think. You could stand in Broken Room with the mirror at a 45-degree angle and shoot from the hideout all the way down to where Nate usually stands in Embassy and still kill that person if you're aimed correctly enough. It's just a mirror. It just works that way. That giant 90-degree angle, that'll work just fine.
Yeah,
It's cool. It's funny. The little thing on bouncing there. I think it's totally good.
yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. Well, anything in the chat for that one, guys? If you want to talk about bouncing, we can go ahead and move that one on. But otherwise, for now, I'm going to go ahead and move it on forward to. I think the bigger topic of this one is going to be the boosting. Yeah,
A little more
boosting is a.
controversial.
Yeah, some people are. Yeah. So starting off with boosting, what is boosting in the first place? Do you want to give us a definition of what you think it should be? Can
So
be.
I think it's completely intention based. So when you have someone that is intentionally cooperating or colluding with the enemy team to either go back and forth shooting at hacker target, shooting at domination tube, shooting any of our game objects that grant points. So the purpose is just to go back and forth capturing this object. So one person captures it, then the next, so that each of those players just rack up more and more and more points. So it's all about colluding with the enemy team in order to gain points.
Yep. The argument would be, well, who cares? It's X how many points. It's just happening for that game mode. Why stop it? I just get points for it. So my main problem is that, well, then you've just ruined the game mode for everyone else playing it, and the meta doesn't develop, the game doesn't get to develop, the game doesn't get to be played. It's just a abuse of how many points you can get. The main culprits are hacker, not necessarily domination much anymore. What other games could be big boosting games?
The only one that ever happens for is hacker. I never see it besides hacker. Maybe free for all, but that's not real.
Free for all is not a real game unless you ask ProgChamp.
He'll play it, but it's just a cluster, and that's why he likes it.
It's just funny.
It is
You
funny.
just the point in free for all is that you can you instead of having to walk back to base in order to respawn, you respawn in that exact same spot wherever you're standing just after like 2 or 3 seconds. No respawn protection. You're just alive again wherever you were, so you can be on top of a tower and constantly shoot Matt over and over again when he's on top of marketplace. Yeah, that's free for all. Um, Boosting and hacker, I tend to really hate. I have yet to play that game in a legitimate way, and I don't know how it works. I've talked about this before in like episode 2, episode 5, episode 7. I want to play hacker. I've yet to play hacker. There's certain people in those games that just turn the game into get 1,000 points.
Yeah, and initially we had kind of a ban on playing certain games when certain people were in the sessions. This was a while ago. This was about 3 years ago. Is we actually had a list in ICE of when we could play Borg. We could play Borg if these certain people were not in the session, just because they would abuse the game. So we would go out of our way to not play that game when people would abuse it. And it's kind of I think more extreme to that effect with hacker. We don't not play hacker when certain people are in the sessions anymore. That's not something we currently do. We don't have a list in ICE right now for any game modes like that. But in the past we did. And it was,
Wow.
yeah, it was well, we were very much less professional 3 years ago, and things have changed quite a lot in that time. But the notion of the thing I dislike the most is the collusion with the enemy team. It's improper to just cooperate with your enemy team and kind of abandon your team in favor of getting points. It's nothing but kind of a personal gain thing. And to be honest with you, I don't even see what you're really gaining besides made up points that don't do anything, especially because the only people that ever boost are 4-star generals who will not go up in rank. So I don't know what the point is, but okay.
To see the big number go, stuff like that. Well, if you're a 4-star general, you spent your entire life, not entirely, your entire iCombat life looking at those points and see how many points you can get. So your brain just already wired differently to try and get
I've
the points.
never cared about points.
You've just played so much, though. You just got it over time.
Yeah, and I've cared about different things when I am playing, but it's the excuse I always get is, especially for like hackers, they'll be sitting on two opposite ends of a room, just shooting the same target over and over again. They're like, well, I don't want to peek that target so that I can just get shot. Normally, what I'll do with that exact target that they're talking about the patio target, and there'll be one person in the room with the couch, one person in the patio, shooting that target back and forth. Normally, what I'll do is I'll shoot it back and forth a couple times, and then I'll shoot it, and when I know that they're going to shoot it back, I'll flip the corner and kill them because they're focused on the target instead of me. They're not worried about me doing that.
That way you can hold on to it for longer and get more upload on the virus.
Right,
for a
I'm
little
trying
bit
to
longer.
win.
Yeah. But effectively, if you just keep flipping the target back and forth, provided your team have 3 of the 4 or 2 of the 6 or whatever, enough that's a half that would cause it. You just kind of flipping between uploading, not uploading, uploading, not uploading. I'm not even sure which side wins that game mode, but generally it would still cause the virus to upload all the way.
Yeah.
It's
So
all about collusion,
yeah,
in my
either way,
opinion.
one of the players is doing nothing. They're just being a waste of a player.
You'll see 0 kills, 1,056 points for sitting in a chair laughing, watching a light go burr over and over again. So it's one thing that bouncing is like a not intentional part of the game. That's like you've pulled it into the meta and created that. But then boosting isn't something that like necessarily would be realistic that we've put into the game, and you know what I mean?
It's
It's
an
like something that
exploit.
it's an exploit that one's good and one's bad. It's because one is um, the team that you're meant to be shooting against is on your side now for this game. You've colluded with them, which is my problem.
Right. One of them lets you be a better player. The other one lets you rank up faster.
Yeah, and if one thing is to be said is if you are going for is like just to win, to get as many points as possible, to like game the system, to try and figure out the game as much as you can, boosting would be a good help for it. No, where is the line drawn besides colluding?
To me, it's all about the intention. So when you have some like random event where the two players literally have no way of seeing each other, and they're like domination or king of the hill or something like that. They're like one next to the tube and then one upstairs or something like that, and they can't see each other somehow. In this, I don't know how you would get to this event, but somehow we get here. Uh, and then they're both shooting the tube back and forth. Well, they're both trying to get the tube for their team. They're not doing it with the purpose of moving up points. They're doing it for the purpose of getting the tube. Now, would I really believe them if they said that? No, probably not, because that situation is almost impossible. But the intention is to get the tube, not the intention of scoring the points. There's no real collusion there.
I wanna see the game progress, and boosting like that doesn't let the game progress. And just all around there. Anything else for boosting?
That's my
What
two
other
cents
games
on
can you
boosting.
possibly do it in? I mean, you could let the other team win in just X game mode. But the thing is, in Hacker, it happens damn near on accident. Like I can see that logic working out, where it's like, why would I expose myself to the enemy? I could just keep this target lit up half 50% of the time and not risk aiming around the corner and winning a gunfight when they're distracted.
We've never seen anyone do it, but technically you could do stuff like, I don't know, have someone sneak into Godfather room and just kill one person over and over and over again, and then they switch sides, and then they do the same thing, and they kill the same person over and over and over
Oh,
again. They kill each other over and over again to get points. I've
like
never seen
Modern
anyone
Warfare
do that.
2. Modern
Yeah,
Warfare 2 tactical insertion boosting. Oh my god. That's how
yeah,
I got all my
yeah. Just having people respawning and killing them over and over again as a collusion, and then swapping and doing it the other way. I've
I don't
never
even know
seen
what
anyone
I,
doing that. It would be annoying because that one would actually affect the score, especially in things like team deathmatch. But
yeah.
it's also
In
kind of hard
Hacker,
to pull
it's
that
just
off.
yeah. Well, you'd have to go somewhere that's pretty clever, and that you wouldn't get spotted, you wouldn't get seen, and get inside one. I think the Godfather room would be the best place if you can get your team not to like shoot
Godfather,
them.
like back a ghetto, maybe wouldn't be the worst, but you would have to be so sneaky about it.
How would you even respawn that person over and over again?
Well, the person that would be dying would have to be the breach door person, the one that's
Oh, yeah.
respawning on the breach door side.
Run back and forth, back and forth. That
Yeah,
seems
it's not worth it, but that would be another way.
no. Well, yeah. Boosting, boosting, boosting. Final B, Battle House. As a joke on Monday, they're not normally open that day. Battle House is another laser tag place next to Veloce, Point Burger Bar, Sky Zone, and stuff right off the highway exit. And on Monday, they happened to be open for Martin Luther King Day, and I went in and tried it for the first time. And I think the last time, what was your first experience going in there for one?
I haven't been there since they were Saber.
Okay, so how did Saber look?
Saber was awful. I went to Saber one time with my dad and my brother, and it was just us three, and we played free for alls for like 2 hours because initially it was supposed to be just we bought an hour of play, but they were so not busy they just said that we could stay as long as we like. We would just constantly cycle through and like play with all the different weapons they had, and they're not like the realistic reload and stuff like that. It's just press a button that you wait like X amount of time, the gun reloads like that. And they would they had two fields that could be connected basically. One of them was just this room filled with barrels. The other one was a room filled with cubicles.
I've
And
seen these.
that's all there was. And we would
I
just
was
run around and kill each other. It was a fun little novelty, but it wasn't like we'd get yelled at for running and stuff like that. We'd get yelled at for like trying to follow each other around. I don't know.
You guys are just goofing off alone.
Yeah.
In there. In like 2018, I walked in there and I saw that too. Like, okay, this is kind of goofy. But since then, Battle House has taken over. Now it's not. I'm still saying combat's better, but man, I was impressed with like they've shaped up a little bit. I mean, you guys are gonna walk in there and we're like, man, what the hell was James talking about? It's kind of garbage. But I'm generally like a pretty optimistic person. And I walked in there and their big dividing curtain was gone. And now it's just one big fuck off field in there. It's cool. And they've put in a lot more props. They've put in some big set pieces and some buildings you kind of have to walk around. The respawn system works similar to ours, and they have like the CMP style headband now, where they have like this Velcro thing you wear on your head, and you just attach little lights to it in your forehead. 4 shots to kill, and it's just when people walked in there, I didn't let them know I was like a iCombat person or anything, but I had a darn T-shirt that said iCombat on. I guess I never picked it up. I told them my story is that I played a lot of paintball, a lot of airsoft, and they seem to like understand that, I guess. And the first session I played was like the 6 o'clock session or something like that, and then it was just me and the employee. It's like, okay, Wyatt, I'm gonna play against this guy, and they were, before the session started, the guy at the front counter was like, yeah, we train our employees. We throw in the employees in when like we need to get some help or when they let us, and we have the thing where Battle House never loses. Oh, Battle House never loses. A challenge, I see. So I tried to play against one person and let you know that he didn't. Yeah, I say it was a tie. I'd say it was a tie with him. He did kill me a couple of times, but he wasn't really expecting me to do very well for one, which is cool. It's cool that the muscle memory and like the play from my combat transferred over. Did you have that same experience?
The guns I was using weren't. They weren't anything that were anything resembling what we have. They were more like childlike laser tag equipment. The guns that Battle House has now are not the same guns that Saber had.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's much different.
Yeah, it was much different.
Yeah, I walked in and then I was looking at their gun. I was like, okay, there's a little button on the side to reload. I figured that out. And the stock was the same as the M4 stock where you push it, and it just had that same part. The red dot, exactly the same as ours. I was like, they always had everyone on green, and everyone playing in green. The first thing I did was switch it to red because I was playing red. I'm like, whoa, why'd you switch it like that? And they're asking me questions like, why are you pulling the trigger with your middle finger over and over again? That's weird. Why do you do it like that? Like their meta hasn't been developed yet. I don't know if that's actually better or not, but it's what I do.
It's actually a pretty 50-50 split on people that pull their trigger with their pointer finger and people that pull their trigger with a middle finger. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. So then the first session, I was playing against the employee, and I surprised him with, I don't know, muscle memory, I guess. And then apparently some people managed to walk in, so I was playing against a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and they played on the other team, and like they made it. It was pretty easy to get around them. I was trying to get them to have fun though. I did lose a couple of times. I think overall I lost that session just because they had double amount of players and I don't know their field. Also, I suck at laser tag, guys. Don't forget about that one. But some of the game modes they had was like the big highlight for me. Their domination, just like at CMP, what Luis has told me, you go over to the thing, you hold a button for like 7 seconds, and it glows your color, which is green or red, and then it counts up to 1,500 in points. So it takes all the way up. And then once it's all the way up there, it locks out. The thing is, though, is they put 2 near, like in the middle of the map, and they put the third one all the way on their side of the map. So that's how they balance it there, is they rely on their people not knowing how the game mode works, and then they just kind of, well, you lost, buddy. You weren't over in their base. You weren't in their spawn hitting the button.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did notice they gave one of the other players in the team a stinger, like straight up from CMP, which was cool. Yeah. The next session I played one was like a 10 on 10, and that one was much cooler. And they played another game mode that I wanted to try at iCombat, like it was called Bomb Squad, and you had to physically wear a backpack on your back, get to a specific location without dying, take the backpack off your back, put it on the ground, and activate the bomb. Which after like 45 seconds, then the bomb blows up, and you have to like defend it the whole meanwhile, and it make this really loud, annoying whining noise, like woo 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 woo, like a, and you could tell the bomb was coming. But you didn't have to activate the bomb once you got in the room. You can activate it in your darn spawn and walk over there. But if it blows up in your hand, you gotta go get a new bomb. Walk back to your spawn, into the pile of bombs they have on the ground, and pick up one of those and put it on. And that was really cool. That game came, apparently, according to their website, that game came out like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So that's cool.
Interesting.
For these different props that like don't necessarily have interaction with our system, can we still play with them at iCombat?
Technically, we'd have to do a lot of stuff manually. It's kind of the problem with a lot of game modes like that, where we have to have the team leader calling to ice watching very specific things. We definitely couldn't. Well, the 45-second bomb wouldn't work too well.
Why not?
Well, because you'd always have to have a team leader following around anyone carrying a bomb. And we don't have as many team leaders as we have players.
So what they did to remedy that is they chose 2 players as bomb carriers, and they didn't follow them around. They just waited near the bomb locations, and then just waited for one of the players to come in, because you didn't have to like drop the bomb while you were dead. You just always have it on your back. And if it blew up, then you have to go get a new one.
Okay.
I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work in our field. But the thing is, we'd be acquiring those. And apparently, I don't want to just straight up buy it from them, right? We make our own thing or some kind. Just be like an eggshell timer for all I care.
I think we would run into problems with it, similar to how we run into problems with like Seek and Destroy, how that didn't really work. Because it's hard to balance things after the game mode actually works. So there's one thing to get the game mode to actually work. It's another thing to actually balance it. And balancing it is kind of the tough part.
Oh. Nonetheless, if that place was open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd probably play at it more just for fun, because it's funny to see the differences. Again, I think iCombat is still just better, but I'm gracefully impressed with how well that place is going, and I want to see all laser tag places develop.
Yeah, and luckily you went on Monday, which is Martin Luther King Day, which was cheaper. So it was only $27 for you to play instead of their ridiculous normal $43.
Yeah, extortionate $43 or 40, whatever
for
it is.
An hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then the upcharges for different guns if you want to use them on top of it.
Did you use any different guns?
Nope.
Dang. Did anyone use any different guns when you were there?
Yes. It was pretty standard actually. People would upcharge and buy I had a guy on my team with a P90. It's like a 4 or 5 shot rifle. And then I had another guy on my team with a pistol, which is funny. He would go pew 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 and it reload really quickly, apparently was his deal. This is really goofy. But they spent so much money on these darn upgrades, they're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep the standard one.
Yeah, I was thinking about going like today or something like that, but I'd go out there and I'd probably want to play like 2 sessions or something like that, and it would cost me like almost $150.
Like, whack.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Thing is, if I went in there and was like, yeah, I'm for my combat and stuff, I didn't know what they like have like some beef against us or something, and they treat me like garbage. But maybe because they didn't know I was there, they treated me really nicely. Overall, I had a really awesome experience there. I think you guys should give it a shot if you guys are regulars at combat or in the area. Just give it a shot and see what it looks like and see what the difference. Maybe learn a few things, play some people, ask some questions, stuff like that.
Did you see any regulars or any regular propaganda?
No propaganda, no meta, no culture yet. It's just like laser tag, but they're trying to make it work. They're really trying to make it work. They're trying to like copy our culture and stuff, but they don't have a regular base yet. At least haven't seen any. And when I was there, I was the top player there that was in the session, and I'm garbage already,
Yeah.
which is whack. Because like, if any of you guys were to play in there, the ones that are better than me, you would just demolish the place. I'd love to see you or Zach go in there, or Donnie or Chief. They just walk in the place and wipe the floor with them. You'd have to develop some new muscle memory with reloading and 4-shot kill and stuff. But oh my god, they just don't know yet. They lack the critical information.
Yeah, 4-shot kill is something, that's for sure.
And it's semi-automatic too. You go
Oh.
in order to get them.
Mm.
Yeah,
That
it's
would, that
really
would catch me.
it was a really long time to kill. And I have to like count and make sure I hit them. But the shot size is really large. The guns are rather accurate. The splash is wild. I was splashing all over the place on accident.
The other
But they have
thing that Saber had, I don't know if Battlehouse has it, but you could see exactly where the laser was going when you would shoot. So you would shoot, and there'd be a big like flashlight that would shine across from exactly where your laser hit.
they did have that, and
They
they
did
told
have
me a
that.
couple times specifically that's not what you're aiming at. Don't aim for that. It's just a team identifier. I'm not sure what team identifier means. They probably use that terminology because I didn't know what it means, so I wouldn't aim at it. So I trusted them and aimed down sight like normal.
Okay.
But it had this big, it had a really large flashlight of whatever I was shooting at. Sometimes I would try and play with it and try and get in with it, but it was a little bit off to the left always.
Oh, I was saying like every time I would play when I was at Saber, I played with the pistol. So you'd pull the trigger on the pistol, and then a flash of light would shine down wherever your laser just hit. So it'd be like the
Cool.
laser and then a flashlight that follows it too. So you'd like see where your shot's going.
Cool.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Apparently they have like 60 some game modes. I again give it a shot. I don't have much else to say besides that. I gave them a 5-star review just to develop their stuff. They were nice to me. It was cool. Really want to get along to is like what I'm really excited for this week is the what I wanted to try. We've recorded some footage of one of our players playing Glue Eater, and we're going to talk over their play live on here and see what he's looking at and talk about what the play is, and maybe not necessarily his play, what other people are playing around him, just talk about the footage in general and maybe what we can talk about too.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna be pulling up a video of Luis playing, and we're gonna be stopping it every once in a while, just kind of talking about what's going on around, what we like, what we don't like, that kind of thing. Just a quick critique.
All right.
So first off, he wanted us to look at a game of Hell Spells. So he's starting at Garage side already. He's already standing in a spot that I generally like, but I feel like you have to be left as well.
Yeah, he's also using my gun as well. To try it out. He's left-handed as well, which is something to note. I think.
Oh, he is.
I can't tell. It looks like he is. I can't remember.
No, I think he's right-handed. That's the way he reloaded there. Oh, okay. Pause there. So
Yeah.
he got far too close to the staircase, I think, and wasn't paying attention to it, and someone snuck up on him.
Yeah, so that's something you always need, like a player on your team to watch if you're going to lean out of that window or something like that. So you'd need that staircase covered at all times, especially like tower as well. You want someone covering both of those. So if you're ever going to watch like out of a different window or something like that, you have to, at like bare minimum, be listening to people coming up, like listening to footsteps, stuff like that, coming up that staircase.
Turn down the video a bit. It's a bit loud for me.
True.
Perfect. Cool. So he's going down their staircase to respawn, which normally I don't do, but sure, go for it.
Maybe he's taking a long way around. Not a great. Nothing much to see here, but.
Thank you.
I was looking over this footage before, and he just kept being upstairs, 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 and he never really got shut out of being upstairs. He would always get up there for free. So what do you think he's shooting at now? The box or the?
He's shooting at the box.
He's learned the box.
I taught him the box.
So those of you that don't know, if you shoot at the black box, there is another sensor inside of it. Just at the right angle, you can shoot it to make it ring.
Yep.
More than one way of shooting the bell.
It's very consistent too.
But you gotta stand in particular spots to do it, because it's a little bit of an angle to hit it. So right there, he had some trouble hitting it, but he found it there.
You can see the little red light that flashes inside that box is actually just a sensor.
How'd that's a new player that got up their staircase.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
it's frustrating because you know that means your team is not watching what they should be. Did not kill that guy.
No. Oh, pause it for a second. So I think what happened there is that he's had the one person come in and go shoot up at the bell, and he got a couple shots at them, but then he saw the second person come around the corner and then realigned his target priority to kill the first person without killing the next one. So that first person wasn't paying attention to him. He was trying to shoot the bell. And Luis wants to stay alive, right? So he's going to shoot the person that actually has a threat to him first, delete that first shot, and then go ahead and return and kill the first person. I think that's what he was going for there.
In theory, you should just kill each and every one because you can identify that person that's running in there as not a threat. He's very clearly going for the bell and honestly didn't see Luis. You can kind of pay attention to where the people you're shooting at look. So when you get someone that's like 3 people in a line, like right there, you can tell where they're shooting and what they see. So you can tell that none of them recognize that Luis was there. So the way that he should pick them off is the order of who's shooting the bell. So the guy that's directly beneath the bell should be number 1. The guy running up to the bell should be number 2. And the guy in lower market should be number 3.
Just to deny as many points as possible from the enemy team. But what if one of them figures it out? If they see the first 2 people die and the third person's like, oh, they get wise and they aim for him.
Well, that third person was in lower market, so I doubt it. And even if they do, you should be able to just flick your gun and kill them anyways. You're a regular, they're not. That's something that you should just be able to take care of.
Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Hey, top stairs, top stairs, top stairs.
So you gotta rotate over and cover the stairs here. This is actually a really nice angle. This is another spot you can bounce from really well. Is if you just take a little, you see a little bit of that staircase, like right there when you were.
Oh,
When you're peeking through that window, I was someone down the stairs, lower market. You can bank shot off the staircase.
Yeah, just that whole room up there is kind of a splash zone. He's probably going to go for it again.
Back.
Knowing him. How's his reload speed? How's he keeping up with that? Are you satisfied with him?
The reload is fine. It could definitely be faster, and he could move the gun less. It's hard to tell because of where the GoPro is, so I can't see perfectly. But the big thing is not moving the gun as much, especially with a gun like this, where it's very, very well looped. So you should be able to press the button without using your thumb at all.
Yeah, he moving the gun up a little bit, but generally it's pretty fast. So the good thing about the spot he's in besides the bell ringing spot is that he can aim just a little bit to the right and kill the person that was in that window right there. I think that was Kalen he shot. And
Yeah.
right here about anyone that's going to come up the staircase has to turn to your left and get shot by the people that are shooting the bell already.
Yeah, so this is actually a spot I don't like much at all. You have to be very, very cognizant of the sniper tower off on breach door side, because anyone can just run up that and just see your headband and take you out really fast, and there's nothing you can do about it, because that's not a spot you can flick. It's so hard to pinpoint exactly where the person is that's standing on that sniper tower. So you have to be either standing really low on this spot or just kind of avoiding it entirely. There's nothing you can see from this angle that you can't see from the further back, so I would rather just standing further to the left of where you used to be. That's where I'd rather be.
Just use the building as cover. You don't need to peek that guy. What do you think about right when the game starts? Do you go and try and kill that person that goes in the tower? Do you look for that spot, or do you just run past him?
Normally I'll run past them and generally just kind of see if like my teammates are running up and dying, or if there's like someone taking damage running up, and then I'll try and take them out in an alternative way. So like right here as well, I can't see what he's looking at when he's running up here. I can only see where the gun's pointed. But from where the gun's pointed, it doesn't look like he checks that area. So you have to run up here, and you have to be very cognizant of that area. Normally I'll try and go all the way around and take them out from closer to their staircase. Or I'll just pre-fire the spot regardless, because they'll get the first shot off no matter what. They're waiting for you.
They will. They're looking exactly for where you're going to be, and I tried it the other week where I was like, well, what if I just try and beat that person in the duel? And I always took like 1 or 2 shots right away. Why take that chance? Just put your head down for a second and run left to get around back, or run forward like where he is right now.
Such a dark corner, and yeah, I think he died from exactly the sniper tower. It's such a dark corner, and there's so little, you can barely see the person that's in it. So it's something to pay attention to, for sure.
Back up the stairs he goes. I mean, it's Hell's Bells, right? This is where he's gonna be. That person's still alive. That's cool. He walked away like he was dead. Maybe he actually did die and there wasn't a registration there, but I don't think I only heard saw two shots.
Alright, so that's the Hell's Bells that you wanted us to look at. The other one was Juggernaut here.
So, oh, he's on defense, Juggernaut.
Yeah,
and
so he's
bodyguard.
bodyguard here. So this spot right away, two things you got to pay attention to is you really want to be listening to people coming up the staircase. As well as kind of, it's a big splash zone as well that you can shoot them off the railing, shoot them off the walls. You have to also be careful of people that are entering the garden. They are very visible from there.
Stairs clear.
Yeah, and if they have that good angle on you, it's much easier if they're a left-handed person. They can just blast you right from the garden, or they can sneak out the front of the mansion and blast you if they're really fast. I saw Damien's blue shoes. He's there.
His blue shoes. His classic blue shoes. So honestly here, I normally have a habit of just taking the sniper tower because I don't want to run back up there. And I also think that it's just a better angle to cover from the sniper tower. He was also on Camo team the last round we watched, so he was definitely swapped.
He was swapped to the other team this game, I remember. Now on black team, looks like.
Yeah.
Now, how about that Juggernaut spot?
Terrible.
What do you think of there?
Completely bad. I will... The priority is to clear the people around the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut's not contributing at all. So what you can do is you can just clear the people around them, and then you can just bank shot the wall right next to them. You just walk right behind them and shoot the wall, and there's nothing they can do about it. They just die.
Yeah. They have to like throw their gun over their head and hope that they're right in the air, or stand up, turn around, and find you and blast you while you're just exploding them.
Without blind firing, there's really nothing they can do. So spots that are just like sitting in a corner hoping they don't find you, you're just relying completely on your teammate. You have to in this scenario, it's not that bad because if I think it's Shay that's Jug there. If Shay recognizes that Luis dies, then she can stand up and move somewhere else or take care of the person that killed Luis. So it's not that bad, but if you're alone as a Juggernaut, you can't just be sitting in a corner.
Where would you want to be as Jug?
I want to be somewhere where I can move around and I can see at least one important area. So I'd either watch behind, I'd take the behind stairs, or I'd take the front of the stairs. Generally, I like to be straight to the right, so right behind Luis, basically, all the way in that far corner, far right corner. It's not a very noticed corner, and as long as you have people defending the stairs behind you, it's pretty good. Once I see the stairs behind me get taken, I'll turn around and stuff like that, so I'll have people watching that for me.
Hey, watch your mark behind.
Patented Luis call out.
He's dead.
This is a good spot here too. I like this one. It's a really good bank shot spot, and it's not something that's easy to just immediately watch for. You do have to be careful of, like, you can see people that walk down the stairs and they're very clearly making room for other people. I'll normally shoot behind them at the wall and then take care of the buddy that they're making room for.
Oh yeah, that's a excellent point. You can watch what the dead people are doing. They turn around the staircase and look down. They move over to the left, or they get down for somebody else. You know someone else is there because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside the game exploits. Outside with just traditional laser tag. It's what the game is. I think they're trying to get up their back staircase now since that guy's there. Staircase tends to get clogged pretty much. And one thing I wanted to mention is stuff like that right there, where if you are playing in a Juggernaut game like this, you want to be using that staircase for as little time as possible. Get on it and off of it, otherwise you're clogging the whole thing up for your team, and never stand at the top and never stand at the bottom.
Alright, so you can see the Awakens over here on the left. So generally I wouldn't want someone standing right here. If I was Luis in this scenario, I'd be flipping over and I'd be looking over the shoulder into the bottom of Ghetto, kind of watching behind us a little bit until I notice that Waken dies. Then I'll flip my gaze over to back over here. But having 2 people covering this one spot is kind of redundant and unnecessary.
One spot that I tend to go to is just all the way on the other side of the market, and just kind of kneel down and watch the splash zone over the thing. I don't have any footage of it, but I generally tend to play defense Juggernaut from the other side of the marketplace, the farther side.
I think a big key thing is, especially as the Juggernaut, it matters more in small sessions, but I play small sessions, is you need to move around a lot. You don't want to stay somewhere that is just kind of a place that people have always been. So you don't want to be right next to their stairs and then have them come back and kill you because they know that you're right next to their stairs. You got to kill them, then move, kill them, move, kill them, move. You want to be constantly juggling them between like 4 or 5 spots so that it's kind of an unfavorable chance that they'll kill you. You want to put all the favor that you can into you winning that gunfight.
Yeah, if you just stay in one spot, you always know the look. Okay, did the Juggernaut survive there, or then...
I think the Juggernaut survived. Yeah, they did. In fact, I remember this one. Shay survived with 1 shot left.
Oh, yeah, it was like 12 HP or something.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what game this is. I think it's Juggernaut again.
If you want to just... There was one game I wanted to look at right at the beginning of the footage. It was
The
just
very
like...
first one?
Yeah, Tango is Black Hawk down. Might have to skip forward a little bit to like get the play to go, but I think I cut it out. Whatever.
Yeah, this looks like
Are you gonna hide or shoot?
Black Hawk. Alright, so kind of let things... I like this spot a lot. This is actually where I've been a lot recently. There's some interesting... The only way that people really get you out of this spot is the far left, down here. That front doorway is if once your guys down there die, then they can sneak through and it's hard to tell. But this doorway over here to the left is really easy to watch, and this doorway over here is easy to watch. The other spots are upstairs. They can shoot through these windows, and all the way in the back left, they can kind of bank shot this wall that you're standing next to. Are things to be aware of.
If you walk a little bit farther forward and just go in that corner there, you can also get... You can see almost all the way into like the Tango corner. You look through like 6 or 7 windows and doorways. It's a useful room.
Yeah, it is, and it is another one that you have really good moves. So you can move to this room off to the left here. You can move to the room that's right in front of the breach door spawn. You can move around a lot to throw people off. And there's actually some really good spots to move around to inside that room as well. So you can like hide behind the filing cabinet and then hide on the other side of it. Go back to the corner, stuff like that. You can move around a lot in that room to throw people off as well.
I'm just kind of now waiting for... Can you skip forward like 5 seconds to hit arrow keys? I feel like he's just going to just be sitting here for a moment.
Alright, so he moves back. Let's give me him. Yeah, he probably hears someone coming in. You can bank shot this wall. If you peek around this wall just slowly, you can just shoot it. See shadows. Die, Nate.
Nate has been removed.
Yeah, so that wall right there is really easy to bank shot off of as well. Be very careful going through that. That's why people complain all the time about people like shooting constantly or just like unloading mags. Man, you just hear them. I just run around the corner, I hear them shooting, I just pop them right there.
Yeah.
Echolocate them.
Being too loud is definitely going to hurt you. It hurts me a lot because I tend to talk a lot when I play. I'll apologize to people that I kill all the time, and that just gets me killed all the time. Nate has died once again.
This is another room that I like a lot. It depends very much based off what windows are and aren't open for it to be good.
This movement?
I'd be really... I don't know how many rangers are left alive right now, but I'd be looking to probably rotate upstairs if I could. It's hard in full sessions, though. I think we're about to get a Nate soon. Yep, there he is. Hi, Nate.
You could tell Nate was coming just because of Nate timing, or what?
Just Nate timing. If he doesn't go somewhere else, he'll be there in about 10 seconds. That's cool.
That's exactly what I wanted. He managed the knife jailer there.
Yeah, he did.
Take
He
jail
was
for
he
it.
was telling us that we very much need to be looking exactly for that one. All right, so that brings us about to the 50-minute mark. So I think it's time to move on to our 7-day leaderboard. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Good timing.
All right, so let's yank this guy up right here. I'll go down the list. So number 1, we got an interesting takeover. We got Live for the Moment taking over number 1 this week. Then going down the list is O2 Cam, Glue Eater, Mama 82, which was Stribling, who changed her name. Killers of the Criers, which once again is Woodland. The Milkman, Sixes and Sevens, Chief, Aravan, J Vito, J Lore, Frog Champ, Quicks, Shea Money, and Commander Irwin, the Scouts, making a return.
They've returned just when Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2 comes out. So they've returned out of their den. They've gotten hyped.
True.
My favorite part is Live for the Moment taking top. He hasn't played in a while. He'll come back every once in a while, but he played like darn near every session on Saturday. And I think some on Friday as well.
I think it was just Saturday because he showed up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did play on Friday. I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure it was just Saturday.
Oh, Mac also did get the number of the beast for kills, so that's spooky.
He did. He also is only on there once this week.
He played more on O2 Cam than... Or, O2 Cam is rank Eagle 13. Is that normal? Isn't that account meant to be much lower?
It was lower. I mean, he plays under it plenty. When you're getting 50,000 score, I mean, that's 2 Eagles a week.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. That's a lot. He's been on an account for a while. Maybe, I think the account had some levels on it when he started playing on it for the first time, but cool. Glue Eater, number 2. Good job. 6s and 7s hasn't been on there in a while, but he's back.
Yep,
Yeah,
same
I
with
played a couple
Frog
times
Champ.
this week.
You don't get Frog Champ all too often on there, but he is there.
Frog
Jay
Champ has been
Vito's
playing
kinda hit or
more.
miss.
And playing wild. And Vito has been doing some crazy stuff recently. And he gets points for his teams for his morale boost, and he's just getting better. Period.
Yeah,
Good points for him.
he has been getting better. I kind of noticed it ever since we went to Missouri, where I was like, oh, he's not just like walking around as like a lame duck. He's actually real now.
Lame duck. I like that. Otherwise, I like the week. This is a good week for us. We didn't talk about Drunk Jimmy, but we don't have to talk about him this week. There was a very interesting character that came in on Friday, and I wanted to talk about, but well, I guess you get to hear about those stories in person if you want to hear about it.
Yeah, just know of his legend, his legacy.
Yeah, he's real. He's super cool.
Nope.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to add for the show this week?
I think that wraps up everything I needed to talk about.
If you guys want to scroll on down and take a look at the Discord, I'm always going to advertise it here. If you liked the segment of reviewing Luis's footage, ask for it more. If you want to review specifically your footage that I can throw the GoPro on for, sick, more to it. Any changes you want to do, drop them in the Discord, stuff like that. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that's week 11 of the Point Gremlins podcast. Later, guys.
We have multiple different hiding spots that we will use.
Is the blue team losing? Let's go see if the blue team's losing.
You worked at iCombat.
No, shut up. God damn it. My plot.
Away my secrets.
They work at iCombat.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, you got a GoPro.
I do.
Send me the footage.
No.